to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 3 simple ways of finishing a tulle or net, or a net. It could be the neckline, it could be the edges, but this is just like the best way of doing this. So I'm going to be teaching you 3 ways of achieving that. It is a very, very simple process. So sometimes when I see people wear tulle dresses, as in maybe like yoke, tulle, they are mainly used for yoke, and then you see the neckline is looking so rough. I really don't used to like it. So today I just feel that this video will be helpful to someone. So that is why I decided to share these tips with you, all my subscribers. So you could see I have 3 tools. So I initially I wanted to use the skin net, that's the mesh, but I decided not to use it because I want it to be very obvious in this video. So that is why I'm using this one. So with this, you'll be able to see everything properly. So the first one we're going to do the one that you sew the neckline and then turn. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add the neckline for this video on this too. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, this is the first time of you coming across Stylish Naija YouTube channel, I would appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button and then hit the bell also to get an update whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to register for Stylish Naija for my online classes, which I usually do every month, so you can see my number scrolling through the screens, just send me a message. Presently I have 6 classes. I have the beginners class, I have the corset class if you want to learn how to sew a perfect covered corset, if you want, and then I have the ready to wear class for those of you that want to go into ready to wear business, that want to be sewing Ankara dresses and be selling online or in shop. I have that class, and then I have an advanced class for people that can sew already and to sew, learn how to sew those party beautiful O1 dresses. And then I have an intermediate class, and then I have a trouser and jumpsuit class. So these are the classes that I have. So I'm just trying to rush it. Okay, so just send me a message. So to add a neckline, it is a very simple process. So adding a neckline, so I'm just going to use our basic, especially when it comes to tulle. When adding necklines to tulle, you have to be very careful. As in, when I say super careful, because if you cut 3, at times if you cut, maybe you want to cut 3 inches. Like me, the secret I normally, if I want to cut 3 inches, I will reduce like about quarter of an inch from that 3 inches. You understand what I'm trying to say? In my fabric, maybe if I'm cutting on Ankara now and I want to cut 3 inches, I'll cut normal 3 inches. But if I'm cutting a tulle and I want to measure 3 inches, I must reduce the inch small, tiny, by maybe by a like a quarter of an inch, or maybe 1/4 of an inch. But I must reduce it. I will not my tape like this now. You see, this is 3 inches now. It's not going to get to this 3 inches directly. I must stop it just a little before the 3 inches. That's one secret that I've been using, and it has been helping me work perfectly well for me. So for this one now, I'm just going to mark now. So for this, this one is the one. So for this first neckline, sorry, I have 2 nets. So we're going to sew and turn. So I have 2 nets. So you see the net, that is, you are going to cut out, that's, you cut one to turn the other one. That's what I mean. So I'll just place it like this. So this is 3 inches. Now this is supposed to be my 3 inches, but I'm going to reduce it a little bit. That was what I was just trying to explain to you. And then for the depth, most times the depth, I usually don't really mind for the depth. So for the depth also, I'm going to use 3, just normal standard neckline, 3 inches width and then 3 inches depth. So these two, you make sure you cut them together. You understand? You cut them together. So I'm just going to cut it like this. So you see, I've cut the 2 necklines together now. So you see how it is looking. So with this, because net is stretchy, you see it is perfect. But if I had cut it that 3 inches exactly, it definitely is going to be bigger and wider than the normal neckline that you want to achieve. So that's the secret. So I'm just going to keep this, and then I'll add the same neckline on this other 2, and then we continue. Okay, so I'm going to open it up now for you to see. So you see how perfectly the neck is looking because I actually did not cut it from the exact 3 inches width. So at the end of the day, once I finish stitching it, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. If I had cut it from that exact 3 inches, definitely, obviously, it's going to be wider than the normal regular neckline. So this is the first one. So I just want to cut the second one before we go to the machine. So for the second one, I had already cut it out. So I'm going to explain to you. For this second neckline, definitely there are some changes that you are going to do to this neckline because this neckline, when you are measuring, for instance, your width of your inches, instead of 3 inches for this kind of neckline, instead of me to use, maybe I, for instance, I want to use 3.5 inches. For this kind of neckline, I'm going to use 3 inches width. I'm going to reduce it by half of an inch. Anything I'm doing, I'll use 3 inches width instead of 3.5, and then I'll use 3 inches depth instead of 3.5. If I want to use, if I want to do 3 inches, I'll do 2.5 inches and then 2.5. So it depends on the length, but reduce it by half of an inch. Why? The reason why reducing it by half of an inch, I'm going to explain to you now, because I'm going to take it back to my machine and then I'm going to stitch it. Why? Because we're going to stitch the neckline like this. We're going to go and stitch the neckline down like this. So you see, during the process of stitching it down like this, is going to reduce that half of an inch that I left on the neckline while cutting it out. I'm going to remove it, so the neckline is going to be perfect. But if you cut it too big for this, it's going to be a problem. So I'll take this to my machine now, and then this one also I'll take to my machine. This one is just a simple process. I'm just going to stitch it round like this, so I'll show you as we go over now. Okay, so we're going to start stitching now. So if you notice, because of the tutorial, I'm using a thread that is not a very matching thread. Why I'm using a thread that is not a very matching thread? Because I want you to see it properly. I don't want it to camouflage with it. So, but if you are sewing your own, you should use a very matching thread, as in thread that is going to be the same exact color. So you are going to just take it like this, and then I'm going to stitch it around. So for the next neckline, I'm going to show you how to stitch it. So for this one, you going to use a very matching thread also, but you are going to fold the neckline like this. So you see how I folded it twice, and then I'm going to start stitching. It is a very simple process. So you just go along with it, and then making sure, just be using your hand and be pulling and be like smoothing it. Yeah, I think that's a better word. So this, that is why this particular neckline, you need to reduce the inch by half of an inch. As in, don't add half of an inch to the neckline, remove it from the original cut out, or else at the end of the day it's going to be so big. Okay, so I'm going to, so you could see my thread, because it is obvious because I did not use a matching thread, because I'm making a tutorial. I want you to see the neatness, that is why. So I'm going to finish it up now and then bring it back to the table, and so we'll cut out the third neckline. Okay, so welcome back to our table. So you could see the neckline. So this is the one that we turned, that we made two. So for this, if you are making use of this yoke, even this one also, if you are making use of it, and if you want to double your yoke, you can double it and still follow the same process of just folding. So you could see even the thread, the color thread that I use, see, it's just obvious from the back, but from the front here, you see, you can really not tell. So at the end of the day, you just iron it down, and then you have a perfect finished neckline. And then for this other one, so once you are done, you're just going to trim it from the inside. So I just want to show you. So you just take it and then you trim it out nicely, and then you turn over and then fold, and then, sorry, you iron it down, and then you can now fix your tulle to, you can fix it as a yoke to any of the your dresses. So that's for the other one. And then the last neckline, if you could see from pictures, so I've made different dresses on this one before. I think I've taught this on my one of my online classes. So this kind of neckline finishing is is like the simplest and easiest. So you're just going to measure. So for this particular style of neckline, you really don't. So for this particular style of neckline, you really don't. You are just going to cut it exactly. The width, the length, everything is going to be the same. So for this, like I said, that we have been using. So I'm cutting 3 inches here, and then for this one, the neckline, the depth, I'll make it about three. Okay, 3 inches also is okay. So let's just mark it out nicely, and then we're going to cut this. So for this particular neckline, when you are making use of this style of neckline, your tool definitely is not going to be doubled, it's going to be a single tool. So I'll cut it on the exact line. So at the end of the day, you're just going to leave the neckline like this, so you will make sure that it is neat. So you see the way. So I have some brushed out edges here, so I'm just going to trim it nicely with the edge of my scissors like this, and then make sure that the neckline is just sitting in place. So this, there's nothing, so it does not tear. So you could see it will not tear. The beautiful thing with this net, you would think even if it is you stretch it like this, once you stretch it out, once you take it back, the next time you want to wear it, once you iron it, it still fits in perfectly well. So like I said, I have it on my dresses, and then it's perfect, and you could see it in so many pictures that the neckline, they did not fold or do anything to it, they just cut it out like this. Okay, so it's like I've talked a lot in this video. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button to make me know you appreciate what I did with this video. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video.